Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to the Krista Chronicles, and today we are back around again with the mid-year tarot deck. Oh my gosh. Tarot tag. I was gonna say mid-year tarot deck. Mid-year tarot tag, which was created by Chanel from Chanel Days. I did this last year and loved it. So I love the idea of returning to this each year because we are now, believe it or not, pretty much halfway through 2024, which is crazy. But we've got 12 questions to get into here, so let's just begin. Starting with the deck you've used the most so far, and for me, that's a tough one because I really do mix around my decks quite a lot. At any given time, I really do have quite the expanse to choose from, but I think overall, looking through my journal, the one I've used the most, because I know it's one that I've used a ton also outside of my daily readings, is the Blooming Lovelies, which I have in this bag because I destroyed the box from sticking it in my bag so much, but I still have to make a tie. I don't know why. That's my process for some reason. Like, I will make all of this, the bag part, at once, and then I'll have a bunch of them just bag only, no tie, and then randomly one day I'll make the ties. I don't know why that part of the process is just the painful part for me, but it is. Anyway, this has been showing up a lot on my channel because I love it so much. What do I have to say about it? It's just the best. I feel like I talk about this so much. This one was an Andy find. At least, you know, in my realm. And I want to say it comes from the UK. I don't know if it was that we ordered these to her daughter who lives there, or we just combined the ship, or ordered two so we could split the shipping. But we got these together because she was like, you just need it. And she was so right. The illustrations are so delightful. They make me so happy. The sayings on the cards are perfect. I feel like I talk about this deck so much that I'm being redundant, but whatever. Because what I always say about this deck and why I like it so much is that usually, especially for my morning polls, I really like a deck that has a guidebook to get into. But this has been a big exception because the phrases on here are not necessarily always super obvious with the message it's trying to convey. And I don't mean that it's like it leaves me stumped for hours and hours, but it takes me a minute to be like, okay, let's take this sentence, either, you know, relate it to what's going on currently in my life, relate it to maybe a tarot card I pulled with it, and then we get to the meaning. And because it's just like this one sentence, it's really easy for me to remember throughout the day, and because it's a little bit silly, a little bit funny in how it's worded, it just really sticks with me. And so I find myself thinking about the card I pulled throughout the whole day, which is rare for me. And it's just, I just feel like this goes to show that to be at least a really, really effective working deck for me, it doesn't have to, you know, it can make so much happen in one sentence, and it doesn't have to be so serious. And I've been loving this so much. I can't get enough of it. It is amazing. And that is all I have to say. So the deck I've definitely used the most so far is the Blooming Lovelies. Okay, so the next question number 2, is a new deck that came into your collection. Now, if you keep up with my new deck digest, you'll know that many come in each month. So I remember last year too, this being like, and I don't remember what I did last year, I should have looked at that. But there isn't really like a way for me to answer this as is. So how I decided to take it this year was a deck that was new to my collection this year that has been kind of on my wish list for a really long time, but it's out of print, unfortunately, I should say. And on top of that, I realized I forgot to include it in my new deck digest this month. So we're going to show it now. And that is the Deva Tarot. This by Piotnik. This I saw, it's got like this stale sticker and everything. I'm gonna leave it. I saw this on Journery's oh my gosh, Journery's channel, Catamancy Tarot, and something about it, I fell in love with it. And it's not my usual style of deck. I want to say it is Thoth inspired, question mark. I don't know if that's true. I think it is. I think the quartz kind of mimic that. But like, this is not my usual thing. I don't really know. Something about the shape, one of the cards, this square shape, but then the shape of the frames here, and then the paintings, and I don't know, something about it is just really speaking to me. And has been since I saw it so long ago on Journery's channel, but again, it's out of print, and I really didn't want to pay an out of print price. I don't know, just didn't. And so I did my usual thing when that happens, and like, look how beautiful that is. It's the colors are so pretty. I did my usual thing where I just save a search on Etsy, put the notification on, and every time one got posted, I just took a look to see what the price was. And I just waited until one came up that did not feel like an out-of-print price. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, I probably paid a bit more than if it was just mass market, but not much. And that's what I'm looking for. I was so excited. And it's in really nice condition. It's one of those, I love getting used vintage feeling decks because they just, this deck has the feeling like it was just really used by someone. It feels kind of old. I just love that. Look at that dragon in strength. Ugh. So I haven't done too many readings with this one. I feel like I need to play around with some pairs for this one. I don't know, but I just really like it. Something about it, I saw it on Journery's channel again. She showed it so long ago. And when she showed it, I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? Look at that. That is amazing. I love it so much. So this is a new deck that came into my collection this year. That was one that's been on my wish list for quite a long time. And that is the Deva Tarot. I need to make a bag or something for it though, because the box is falling apart. Okay. Oh, so my most anticipated deck released this year. Was this released this year? Now I'm like, oh, it wasn't. Okay, but it was at the very end of last year. Whatever. I'm counting it, because that's a Sacred Threads Oracle by Dawn Michelle. I am in Dawn Michelle's Weavers YouTube membership, and so we've been getting to see, you know, a little bit of we were able to see kind of the process of her creation of this deck and kind of the updates, and then we got like previews of the deck and got to order it a little bit early. Like, it just, I was so excited to get this deck. And I want to say this is at the very tail end of 2023. We're counting it, okay? And it is so good. It's such a good deck. The artwork is so beautifully done. I just love the feel of it. This is the pocket version, but I do have the full-size version coming, because I want to do like a thing with it where, because I have the guidebook, which is kind of like, it's cool, it's like a guidebook journal type thing, so each card has a space to kind of write in your own experience with the card, and I really wanted the full size to do that with for, I don't know. I also just wanted the full size in general because I got the pocket and was like immediately like I want to see this bigger too, but I really like having the pocket. And it's so beautiful. I love her interpretations in her guidebook. I love the keywords in this. It pairs with so much. I was so excited about this one, and I still am. Like, I can't wait to get that full size. I think she did such a good job. So, this was definitely my most anticipated release. This is the Sacred Threads Oracle by Dawn Michelle. Okay, next up we've got my biggest disappointment, and I'm going to preface this by saying that my choice is not at all a disappointment in like the deck itself or anything to do with like its creation or quality. It's completely a disappointment in the fact that I just thought I would personally really love it more than I think I do, and that it would just like, that I would want to use it more than I do. So that's my preface. And so for me, unfortunately, that is the Tarot of Aphrodite. I was so excited about this deck. It's one that I just was like hemming and hawing about since that first edition was up on Kickstarter. And I didn't get it then. And then I want to say, yeah, Logan from Larkin Legend did the best walkthrough. And I was like, oh, wait, but maybe I like it. Then the second edition, this one went up on Kickstarter, but then I didn't back it. And then I bought it afterwards when we were nearing Valentine's Day because I was like, okay, this is the time. And it was fun. It was fun for me for Valentine's Day, but now I don't know. I think the thing is that I have quite a few found art decks, but don't use found art decks a ton. And I think it's just that another one I'm actually going to show in this video. It answers another prompt. Just kind of, it always wins out over this one lately. And while I think this is so I mean, look at those backs. So gorgeous. I think this deck is so gorgeous. I'm obsessed with the shade of pink used for the borders. I don't know. I think it just didn't end up exciting me as much as I thought it would. I'm not at a point where I want to let it go. I think it's worthwhile to just hold on to it and see. But I think it could also just be a thing of like having a hard time pairing it maybe because of the pink border. I don't really know what it is, to be completely honest. But again, truly just a disappointment in the fact that I really thought I was going to, I really thought it was really going to work for me, and I don't, as of right now, I don't think it does, and that's okay. But yeah, I have to say that's probably the biggest disappointment so far this year. But again, like, such a beautiful deck. Look at this box. Like, there's no denying. It's so well done and so beautiful. That's the Tarot of Aphrodite. Okay, moving along. The biggest surprise from the year, or, you know, a deck that has surprised me the most, easy, instantly thought of which one it was going to be. That's the Unfinished Business, a Ghostly Tarot by MJ Cullinane. I pre-ordered this really out of curiosity, but it was one of those things where, again, I was kind of like, should I don't know, like, am I really gonna use that? Is it a theme I really connect to? And then I got it and flipped through the cards, and again was like, well, like, where is this really gonna fit into any sort of practice I do? And then I pulled cards from it and read the guidebook, and oh my gosh, has this deck blown me away. Like, completely blown me away. Each of the guidebook entries is basically kind of like this, a story written about the characters, written or portrayed in each card. So it tells you their story, either about, like, you know, how maybe this showed how they died or how they're existing in the afterlife. Either way. And you pretty much completely get the message from the story. And oh my gosh, the way these stories have completely stuck with me is like no other. I use this in readings with Andy as well, and we both completely remember the different stories. Like, there's this one, I think it's the Nine of Cups, this woman with peacocks around her, and like, we'll reference that to each other. Having just pulled the card one time, read the story one time, it just sticks with you. This one too we pulled. And I think that is so impressive and so telling of just how good the writing is, that like, I haven't pulled this deck out in a few weeks, and this is the first card I ever pulled. I've only pulled it once, only read the story once, but I could tell you exactly what happens because it just really sticks with you, these stories. It's so good. And I really didn't expect that. I kind of, again, for some reason, MJ Cullinane's decks always intrigue me, and I always try them. But until lately, a lot of them really just haven't worked for me. But, so I didn't really know what to expect from this. This is the one, the Nine of Pentacles, with the peacock. Ugh. But this one just, like, completely blew me away. And there's a fuller guidebook now. That I just got in, but haven't gotten into yet. But it's the Unfinished Business, Spirits and Notes. So it takes, I want to say, I don't really know. I have to really look at this. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't really know what that is. I thought it was like gonna be an expanded kind of guidebook. Is that the case? Oh, she signed it. That's so cool. I think it creates the story around, like, the creation. It's supposed to be like the notebook of, you know, the person who encountered all of these ghosts and spirits, I want to say. I'm super excited about that. So yes, that is absolutely my biggest surprise from the year. That is the Unfinished Business, a Ghostly Tarot. Okay, next up is your current deck crush. I didn't even take it out. Oh my gosh. Because I was literally using it this morning. Got it. Do we all want to take a guess of what my current deck crush is? If you've watched probably any of the last 10 videos I've posted, I feel like. It's the Bee Tarot. Will she ever stop? I don't know. How many things can I say? I don't know. I just love it. And again, it's not actually unfortunate, but kind of unfortunate because I've been so obsessed with this deck, and yet I can't put into words why it makes me so happy. It just really does. It just feels like, you know what it is? Because it feels magical, but in a way that is really grounded, where it feels like I can look outside and see these scenes in my own backyard. And it just it brings to life that idea of magic in the mundane, I feel like. And just, I don't know, all the the gardens and the flowers and the bees. It's so perfect to this time of year and just makes me think of how much joy I get from just sitting out in my garden and watching the bees. I could do it for hours, and I do that for hours when possible. And I think the guidebook is amazing. The whole package, everything about it, I am so obsessed with. I can't stop using it. I think it's been in 2 or 3 monthly favorites in a row because I love it so much. It just makes me think of the peace I feel, again, just being outside in my yard and just looking at my flowers and watching the bees. I love it so much. So that is definitely my current deck crush, the Bee Tarot. Okay, next is your favorite tarot card. Now, my card of the year is the Devil, which has been an interesting exploration, but I kind of took this, I don't know, I think I also got caught up on this question last year as well, and I think it's probably because I'm trying to really take it very literally. And so instead of picking a general card, I picked a singular card that I just really like from this year that has really stood out to me. And that is the version of the Hierophant card in the Witch Sister Tarot. And honestly, this was also an excuse to show the Witch Sister Tarot, because I also, like, I've loved this deck this year. This is another release from this year. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so great. And so when I was thinking of this question, I was like, oh, there's so many cards in the Witch Sister that I just really love and make me look at things a different way. And so I knew I wanted to pick from that deck. And of all of them, this version of the Hierophant just really, I just really, really like it. So it's renamed the Tradition. And as you can see, we have an older woman here who has this candle, and in the candlelight, we see this, like, group, this, like, crowd of what we can assume are ancestors. And I think it says it in the guidebook. And just thinking about, I don't know, I just think it brings such a cool lens to the idea of the Hierophant, of usually it being kind of like these, kind of like societal, cultural rules, in a way. And bringing it down to this idea instead of, like, the things that sort of ancestrally we carry with us, for better or for worse, I think. I don't know, something about that is so cool, and I love the artwork in this deck. It is just everything. And I just think this deck is also so amazing. I can't say enough good things about that one, but yeah, I think this has to be probably, like, the most standout card, I would say, of anything I have brought in so far this year. This one just really stands out to me, and I think about it. I think about this image a lot. So that's my favorite card, and that is the Tradition from the Witch Sister Tarot. Okay. Next is a deck that makes you happy. And again, are we going to be surprised when she says the Unicorn's Journey Tarot? This just makes me happy in so many different ways and directions and possibilities. So this is, I mean, we all know. Do I even have to say? It is Lisa Pupez's deck that is coming out. It finished funding on Kickstarter a few weeks ago. It did so amazing, and I had the honor of receiving a review copy, which, it's like, that alone, like, was such a moment of joy and happiness. Anytime I get the chance to review a deck, it's just, I feel so lucky and excited that anyone is sort of, especially when it is, you know, independent creators, like Lisa is with this deck, because it really feels like trusting me with their creative baby, you know what I mean? And it just makes me so happy. But then on top of that, unicorn, love it. This deck is so magical. And every card has a self-worth message that has just been so healing. I really can't get enough of this deck. It is a masterpiece. It is perfect and amazing. And to think that, like, the full finished copy is it's gonna be so beautiful. Like, I love this version so much, and to think that it's not even, like, the full finished version, oh my gosh. And the colors, oh my gosh, it's just one that really makes me so happy every time I use it. Whenever I think about it, it feels like when I pull a card from here, it just feels like Lisa's right in the room with you. Just giving you some advice for the day, and I think there's so much magic in being able to create something that feels that way. And the backs, can we just? Oh my gosh. So yeah, it makes me happy. I love it so much. That is the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. Okay. Next up is the most beautiful deck this year. And my pick for this is the Persephone's Garden Tarot by Kara Small, or, oh my gosh, what is her, oh yeah, no, she put Kara Small in here. I didn't want to, like, sometimes people, like, you know, put their shop names and stuff, but I will link her Etsy shop below where you can get it. But by Kara Small, who is Forest Moon Maiden here on YouTube. And absolutely, so far this year, the most beautiful deck. Like, especially like, when I think of the word beautiful, it's like this kind of art is what comes to mind. But then on top of that, the theming of the deck around Persephone, the way that she dedicates this deck to working with that goddess. Like, there's, I don't think I have it in the box. I think I have it, I think it is on my altar somewhere. But she wrote this dedication that comes in the deck, and it's so beautiful. But then also, like, the choices she made for each of the cards, the decisions she made behind certain name changes, just all the intention that so clearly went into this deck, like, just adds to that beauty. And this is the one I was talking about with the Tarot of Aphrodite, where I was saying that, like, there's another that just beats that one out for me. Like, if I have to choose between the two, I choose this one. Because something about it, I really, really love it. I love the backs, the pomegranates. And maybe that just honestly has to do with that I prefer working with Persephone energy versus Aphrodite. That could, you know, that it could be as simple as that. But also I think this is so beautifully done. Like, really, truly so great. The cardstock is amazing. I love the tuck box is so beautiful. Everything about it I just think is so well done and so beautiful. The digital guidebook is amazing. I really like it. I can't say enough good things. So that is my most beautiful deck so far this year. That is the Tarot of Persephone's Garden. Oh, did I not think of this question before? No, I did. Okay, a deck you want by the end of the year. So that makes me, I have to, like, think about decks coming out this year. But I have to say, probably the one that I can think of on the top of my head I'm most excited about that's coming out before the end of the year is the Good Fortune Tarot, which I believe is written by Barbara Moore, but the artwork is by Jessica Rue, who I am such a huge fan of. She is the creator of the Woodland Wardens Oracle. and it's coming out from Llewellyn, and just the previews shown so far, I am so excited about it. Cannot wait. So absolutely will be getting that deck because I just think it's so beautiful. But it's not out yet, but it will be out by the end of the year. So that is the deck I want by the end of the year for sure. Okay, number 11 is the deck you haven't used but want to by the end of the year. Haha. For me, oh my gosh, I'm knocking things over. That is the Star Maiden Tarot by Hannah Kirchen. This is from US Games. And I haven't used this yet. Look at the edging, the blue. I haven't used this yet only because honestly this could fit into like a deck that really surprised me too, because I really didn't expect to love this one, honestly. But then I opened it up and started just looking through the cards and was like, wait a second. I love this artwork. I really love it. It feels like it has like a folk art style to it that I don't think I was expecting, because usually this kind of style of artwork is not my thing, but it leans towards that folk art look, which is absolutely my thing. But upon my first flip through of it, it feels like the perfect fall time, early winter deck, just because of the colors, right? It feels like, I mean, because it is the Star Maiden Tarot, it feels like a lot of the deck is set in nighttime, so that kind of like dark half of the year. I'm thinking like even starting in September all the way through winter, I think this is really gonna have a moment for me because I really love this artwork. I think it's gonna pair well with so many different things. I am so excited about it. It's on a linen cardstock. It's just really beautifully done. And so I haven't used it yet, but I absolutely plan on especially bringing this out once we kind of get towards that dark half of the year again. I love it so much. Oh, it's so good. So that is the Star Maiden Tarot. And the last question for this mid-year tarot tag is favorite video made. And I don't really have a specific video, and this isn't even like a thing I started this year, I don't think. Honestly, don't remember. I don't think so though. But I have to say, my favorite videos that I make are my tarot and neurodivergence videos. And that is for many different reasons. For starters, I feel like they feel like a video that the creation of them feels kind of challenging for me in a good way. Because I truly make them whenever a topic just kind of comes up, when I either have some sort of personal revelation or just learn about something new and I realize it applies to my tarot practice in some way. And so they're not really something I can plan for. And so they're always videos where I'm pretty much just turning on the camera and just talking. Because I don't ever plan out what I say because, I don't know, it sounds like it'd take a long time. But, and so they feel like a challenge for me because it truly, like, those videos are the only time I really feel myself feeling a bit self-conscious about putting a video up. And I think it's because, I don't know, it just, obviously it's, you know, pretty personal and we're just really getting into it with those videos, but I think it's a challenge in terms of like just the general challenge around late diagnosis in the like feeling a challenge around being able to kind of like self-validate when you kind of existed at least a good chunk of life with that not being a truth you knew. It can be kind of hard to just so like openly discuss it. But again, I think it's challenging for me in a good way, because by doing so, it's sort of these like little self-validations of like, this is right and this is the truth. And so they're a favorite in that way, but then also beyond that, just like the lovely and kind response I always get to them just blows me away every time. And I think it always will, of just all of your kind comments around how you can relate, or just even just saying like that makes sense. Like, it's so, I don't know if this sounds weird, but like just even the validation from that of like, I'm not the only one experiencing this is so amazing. And just so cool that it's like we can kind of, through a similar interest, we can share about so much, which I think is just the cool thing about tarot. So those are definitely just my favorite videos that I make in general. So yeah, that was my thought there. But that is the last question, my friends. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day so far. I'd love to hear about any of your favorites now that we are halfway through the year. But other than that, I'll see you again very soon.